Well, happy Friday, everybody. We are finally together. I do believe it says that we are. I don't know what was going on before, but we just couldn't go live. So hopefully we are. Now, if you are having any trouble seeing me on Facebook, then head on over to YouTube, This Shining Life. You can find us in either place. Okay, now we are going to make something absolutely amazingly delicious today. And if you don't have a barbecue, don't worry about it because you can use a frying pan or you can use your air fryer. Bet you never thought of that because we're doing burgers today. So frying pan, barbecue, air fryer, whatever works best for you. So I'm going to give you, we're in the kitchen, so we're not using the barbecue, but I am going to give you a couple of barbecue tips. And I'm going to give you a couple of burger making tips. So let's get started because we are just about 25 minutes late getting started. But you know what? We are going to have fun today anyway. So let's get busy. Get this party going. Now just do this so we can see. Now, many times I have made burgers and you know, there's always something new to learn. Doesn't much matter what you think you're going to do. There's something new to learn. So today we are going to make burgers. Now, Canadian burger is a little bit different. In the States, when you're looking at ground beef, it will say 70-30, 80-20, 90-10. That tells you 90% protein, 10% fat, and that's what you know. But in Canada, it is regular, medium, lean, or extra lean. And so what I'm using today is lean. Now, this is really worth remembering. Extra lean is 90-10. Lean is 17% fat, and medium is 23% fat. Regular is 30% fat. So, what we're looking for in a perfect burger is a 20-10. So, you could mix half lean and half medium. That would give you that 20% ratio. But today I had extra lean, or I had lean in the freezer, and so that's what we're using. Now, I am not going to mix anything into the burger just yet. What I am going to do is I'm going to add 1 egg. Now, because this is only 17%, I am going to add an egg to it, and that's going to work as a bit of a binder. Can't really add half an egg. And the seasonings that we're going to add is 1 teaspoon of TSL Organics chili powder. Give it a little bit of a Tex-Mex flavor. And we're going to add about half a teaspoon of black pepper. Now, you can add a little bit of garlic to this if you like. You can add a little bit of onion. But what I don't want you to add when you're mixing this up is I don't want you to add salt. Like, what the heck do you mean you don't want me to add salt? Salt goes in everything, and we've had discussions about how amazingly good for us salt is. But in this, if you add salt right to the ground beef before you cook it, you could very possibly end up with a tough burger. So, when we are, now I'll tell you, I have been doing a lot of research, and you know, one of the things that I never really did any research on before was making a hamburger, because I know how to make a hamburger. I was taught how to make a hamburger when I was really young. My mom taught me, my dad taught me, my grandma taught me. Lots of people made burgers, and lots of times those burgers were tough, and so you just chalk that up to the meat that was used being a little bit too tough. Not the case. Okay, now this 1 egg with the chili powder and the pepper in it is what we are going to add our ground beef to. And I'm going to spill it all over the place. Now, this is 1 pound of lean ground beef. So this is 17% fat. And we are not going to mix this very much, just enough to incorporate the spice that is already beaten into the egg. So we're just incorporating the egg a little bit. Now, the more we mix this, the tougher this burger is going to get. So we don't want to mix it very much. We're just being gentle with it. So when you are doing burgers, doing huge, great big batches where you really have to get in there, not the best idea. Okay, now, just being gentle, and just moving it around a little bit and not really giving it very much of a squeeze. Okay. Now, to get burgers that are going to cook perfectly, we need to have something to wipe. You notice the gloves? Yep, not touching raw meat. Can't do it. I know, it's weird, but that's just who I am. So, we're going to take our scale and zero it with the bowl that I had the ground beef on, and I'm just going to make meatballs that are, so there's a pound in here, and so I'm going to make meatballs that are, whoops, I guess I should zero that now that I've got the bowl on it. Now that's 120 grams. So 120 grams, that's going to be about right. That's going to be 480, and with the egg. Now you'll notice that I'm just packing these loosely. We don't want to be putting a lot of pressure on these because we are going to put them in a burger press. Now a burger press, for some people, not necessary. Other people, very necessary. 223, that should be 240. So we'll add a little bit more there. And we're going to zero this again, makes it a little easier. Don't have to do any mathing. Now that one is 120. Now let's see how much this one is going to be. I think it's going to be a little bit more. That's okay. That is 164, so that is a little bit more. But we're only going to be cooking 2 of these today, so those 2 are the same size. We're just going to set this aside. And we have our 2 meatballs. Now, there are all kinds of burger presses that you can use, and I'm going to show you 2 of them. The first one is just a cheap plastic burger press that you can get at any grocery store, and it has this little tray in there that we will discuss in a few minutes. And the other one is a little bit more heavy duty, still pretty compact, and you know, you can find a place somewhere, hopefully in your cupboard for this. This one is going to give you a more even press. It's also going to let you put a lot more pressure on the burger, but is that a good thing? We'll talk about that too. Now, we know how much these patties weigh, so we're just going to put that scale away, and I will wipe that down a little bit later. Now, when you put a meatball, or whether you've made it into a ball or not, you set it in the center. Now, we use this press, and you really have to work to make sure that it stays even. And very often, take this out of the pan. Now this is about a 4.5 inch round patty. Now look at what happens to the bottom of the patty. We have this divot in here because of that little plastic disc. So we're going to put this back on the plastic disc because we want to start our burgers cooking at the same time. Now that's the plastic one. You do have to make sure that your hands are putting even pressure on it. So is it the best option? I don't know. Part of it is going to depend on your budget. Part of it is going to depend on your preference. It's your kitchen. So you do it the way you want to do it. I'm just going to set that over there. Now this one, we're going to set this in the center, and I am going to make this a little bit thinner. Now, I don't know whether you guys can see this or not, but there is a screwy thing. I don't know. I'm not a, now you see this this thing. I don't know what it is. But it gives you the option to make your burgers thicker or thinner. Now that, for me, is important because this one, it is what it is. This one gives you an option of how much compression you're going to put on it. So we're going to get burgers that are a little bit more uniform because you're pushing straight down in the center, and it's not going to be quite as thick as that one, which is fine, but it is more uniform around the edges. Now, where this one does not quite compare, I'm going to show you this. If I can get it off here with it. Okay, now that one is breaking, so I need to put a little more pressure on it. There we go. And when you're taking, now I should have put burger paper on here, but I didn't. So we're just going to try and get this off here without breaking it. And I think we're going to do it. There we go. No problem. Okay, now what this one does not have, other than the fact that it isn't quite sticking together as well as the other one, it doesn't have that divot in the center. So do we care about the divot? We do. And I'm going to tell you why. You know what? We might do 3 burgers if we have room for them. Now we're going to get this pan heating. Oh, come on. Now we're using magnetic induction, and there we go. And we're going to start it heating on 4. So out of 10, we're doing 4. Now, we were talking about the divot in the center of the hamburger, and is it important or is it not important? And it is important, and I will tell you why it's important. That little divot, if you've ever done burgers on the barbecue and they all bubble up in the center, this little divot stops that from happening. So let's get this one off here. So you want to make sure that this little indent in the center of the patty is facing up when you start cooking. And since we didn't have that option in our second one, we have to manually put a little indent in our burger. Not a real big push, but yeah, needs to be done. So I'm going to not put a divot in this burger because I want to show you the difference that it makes. Oh, and not drinking coffee this morning. I'm using Da Vinci sugar-free syrup, strawberry with TSL organic citric acid in it, and it is awesome. Now you'll notice I got a little bit of a different look going on today, and I'm going to talk to you about that too. Okay, now we're getting this heating up. And I'm just going to grab a spoon to grab a little bit of bacon fat to put in there because bacon fat makes everything better. And it's a little bit of extra fat in the frying pan. Now, if you were doing this on the barbecue, 2 things are true. Do not put it on the barbecue and close the lid and walk away. Just don't. If you put it on the barbecue and close the lid and walk away, it can get too hot too fast. So you'll have it raw inside and burnt outside. Not a good flavor. It can also get really smoky depending on whether you're using a gas grill or a charcoal grill or a wood chip grill, whatever it is you're using. You have more control over what's going on with your burgers than if you close the lid, because that temperature just keeps going up and up. You want to put your burgers in on the hottest part of the grill. Make sure your grill is clean. Make sure that you've oiled it, or if you don't want to oil the whole grill, oil one side of the burger. Now, we want to do the burger with the divot side up. That's important to remember. Okay, now, is this hot? That is starting to smoke just a wee bit. So it is good enough. So we're going to take the burger without the divot. Now remember, these weigh exactly the same. And we are going to just make sure that this, now this is a stainless steel pan. And lots of times you read online and they'll say use a non-stick pan. Do not use a non-stick pan. You are going to get a much more beautiful crust on your burger. And I just messed up on that. I'm going to grab that out of there real quick, because you remember when we were doing this, we didn't add any salt to our burger. And the reason for that is you want the salt when it goes on the grill. Not before, not after. You want the salt when it goes on the grill. A little bit more on this one. You don't need to be too generous, but you don't want to be stingy with it either. Now, if you want to add a little bit more pepper to this, or you want to use onion salt, whatever it is that you want to do, Alexa, set a 9-minute timer.
9 minutes, starting now.
Alexa, set a 4-minute and 30-second timer.
Second timer, 4 minutes and 30 seconds,
Okay.
starting now. Do you want to name this timer?
No, thank you. Alexa, stop. Okay, now we have 2 of these in the pan. We're going to leave these for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and then we're going to flip them. Why 4 minutes and 30 seconds? I bought this ground beef. Now, if you know me, you'll already know this, but I like my steak blue rare. My dad liked his steak blue rare, and so do I. I think it is the perfect way to eat a piece of steak. However, when you're talking about ground beef, if you are grinding your own beef and you're adding your own lean meat and you're adding your own fat, that's one thing. Then do your burger medium rare or medium if you like. If you are buying ground beef in the store, you didn't grind it and you don't know exactly what's going on with it. So you want to make sure that you're cooking it in a way that is going to make the burger safe to eat. So internal temperature of 155 to 160 is medium well to well. And so that's where we want to head with this. Don't want to do medium rare to rare on store-bought burgers. As good as it would taste, not necessarily the safest idea. Okay, so we're going to do 4.5 minutes on each side, because that's going to give it, I'm going to turn this up just a wee bit, make sure we get a nice crust on there. That's going to give this a little bit better flavor if you let that crust really caramelize. And we'll see what's going to happen on this one that doesn't have the divot. That's an interesting question, isn't it? Okay, now, we put the spices in the burger. We put the salt on the burger. Why? If you add salt to a burger, salt does strange things with meat. If you take a piece of steak and you sprinkle salt on it, and you put it on a plate, sprinkle salt on it, set it in the fridge, look at it in about 15 minutes, you'll see a whole lot of moisture coming out of that steak. Salt does that. Now, if you put it back in the fridge, and we're going to turn this down just a wee bit. If you put it back in the fridge and you leave it for an hour or two, and you look at it again, you will see that that moisture has disappeared because it has gone back into the steak. Salt is a very magical ingredient, and we need to use it for flavor. However, because we don't want it destroying enzymes and messing with the moisture content of our burger, we add it to the top of the burger on the outside, and that's going to give us a much more tender burger. Now, the other thing that is really worth noting, if you go to the grocery store and you see those tubes of burger that are super compressed and you can't really see the strings of ground beef in there, you don't want to make burgers out of that. That has already been way over processed. Okay, how much time is left on our, we've got about 40 seconds left on our 4.5 minute timer. That burger is already way over processed, and by the time you get any flavor into it and get it on the grill, you are guaranteed to have a tough burger. If you want to buy it to make chili and really break it up, then, that's fine. But you don't want to be buying it to make burgers for the grill, because you're just going to have tough burgers. With or without the salt, doesn't matter. It's already tough because it's already way over processed. Do not do what I just did and play with the burgers while they are in the pan. They need time to caramelize, and they might stick a little bit. They'll release. Once they're cooked to where they need to be, 2, 1, here we go. Alexa, stop. Now we're just going to flip these babies over and look at how beautiful that is. Oh, look at those. Beautiful crust on both of those. And now we have the same amount of time on the next timer, and we'll see how these work. One with the divot over here, and one without the divot. So that is a really magical way to make your burgers lay flat on the grill. And especially if you're doing a thicker burger. The thicker the burger is, the more important that is. And the more evenly it's going to cook. If you've got that dome in the inside, it's not going to cook as evenly. Okay, we don't have any cheese on these burgers. Do you want cheese on your burger? Because if you're wanting cheese on your burger, you can shred cheese and add a little bit more spice there. You can, I see it now, I've got all my burger presses in the way here. Because I do not have, oh, look at that, right there. Jalapeno pepper. Chop this up super fine, minced, fine. Now, when you open up a jalapeno pepper, how much heat do you want? If you really want some extra heat from it, keep the seeds in there. If you don't want extra heat in it, and to mix it in with cheese, I wouldn't keep the seeds in. Just take those seeds out, take the ribs out of the inside. What kind of cheese do you want on your burger? Medium, old, extra old, nacho cheese, Mexican cheese. I don't know, we've got 2.5 minutes left here. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but this is puffing up a little bit in the center. Not a whole bunch. This one, not at all. Now, one thing that you absolutely do not want to do, and I see people doing this all the time, and it makes me sad, and that is taking some kind of a flipper and pressing down on the burger. You're pressing out all of the beautiful juices that are in that beef. Your burger is bleeding out before you ever get it off the grill or out of the frying pan, and it is going to taste dry and tough. Leave it alone. You do not need a meat press on this. I promise you, you don't. We want those wonderful juices to stay in there, especially if you're using a lean ground beef, because it's already got a fat deficit anyway. So why do we want something that has more fat in it? Because that fat makes the burger juicy. That fat makes the burger tasty without adding a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, now I'm going to turn this off because that frying pan is hot, and it will stay hot. We only have a minute left, and we are going to take a look at these burgers. I'm going to be cooking more of these tonight. So, if you're doing it on the grill, outside, leave the lid of the grill open. Make sure your grill is cleaned. Make sure you've got a little bit of oil on the burger so it's not smoking on the whole grill. And leave the lid open so it's going to cook evenly. Don't forget the divot so that it doesn't bubble up in the center. And yeah, I don't know how much you guys can see this, but it definitely is rising here a little bit. If you're cooking it in your kitchen, stainless steel frying pan or cast iron, either way it's going to give you a beautiful crust on that burger that you are not going to get to the same degree if you're using non-stick frying pan, and they're not my favorite things in the world anyway. Okay, we have got 22, 21, 20 counting down here before we get to take a look at these burgers. So, stainless steel pan. Now, if you have trouble cleaning this afterwards, and you can find this online, you can find it at, your local grocery store, Barkeeper's Friend. Amazing, amazing abrasive that is good for stainless steel. Alexa, stop. Okay, now our burger is done, and you can see that it's still bubbling around the edge. So, look at this baby. Oh, that is gorgeous. Now, this is the one that had the divot in it. So we'll flip it over, and we see how beautifully cooked that is. Now, this one did not have the divot in it. Now, look in the pan. You can see a little circle in the center that was not touching. And look at this. You can see right in the center of that burger where this didn't touch. And it doesn't matter whether you cook it on a grill, in a frying pan, in your air fryer, which is another way that you can cook burgers. You're going to have that bubble in the middle and that little divot. And the divot goes up. That's worth remembering. Okay, now let's see how look at this. They are just falling apart. There's no toughness in there. So even though we had a little bit of a fat deficit, that burger is amazing. It would be even more amazing if it had a little more fat in it, granted, but it's tender. It falls apart in your mouth. You're not going to get tired chewing it. And why on earth do I have this thing on my head? I did say I was going to talk to you about that. You know, one of the things that I say to clients that start with me that are joining for mobility or weight loss, and they're starting keto to try and regain some of that. That is so good. You guys need to do this. So, need to drink water. There we go. Now I can talk. So one of the things that I say to people that are just starting with me is, how much exercise do you do right now? And I get this look of sheer terror from a lot of them because they're not exercising and they're thinking that I'm going to tell them to go and buy a gym membership or walk 5 miles a day or whatever. No. If you are not exercising and you are just starting keto, that's exactly what you should do, is not exercise. Your body will tell you when you need to move. Now, that doesn't mean that you should just sit in a chair or on the couch, itchy nose, all day and not move at all. You definitely should. But do you need to go and buy an expensive gym membership or no? So what has that got to do with this super sexy headband that I'm wearing? In May, Dell got me an Oculus Quest 2 VR headset. And I love it. Not for the reason that I thought I was going to. I have found workout programs that you can buy. Some are subscriptions, some you just purchase. And I've been working out, doing something that I never thought I would do because I've been boxing. And I am not interested in having a boxing match with anybody because I'm kind of wimpy. But in these programs that I've got, Les Mills something, and the other one is Supernatural and Fit XR. In all of them, you have targets coming at you. So you're punching a target. And it is awesome. It's so much fun. And it is an amazingly difficult workout. Your legs are tired. Your arms are tired. Your back is tired. You are just, or I was just exhausted. And for the first few days, I was pretty sore. But I was having so much fun. I've had a gym membership. I did not have fun. I go out walking and I don't have fun. I do this and I do have fun. So if you're trying to figure out what you can do to get some exercise. There are all different levels in there, and I promise you, I am not doing the high intensity levels. Oh, no, no. As a matter of fact, I just got to medium on one of them, and the one program, and it's a subscription one, also has dance workouts. I promise you, I'm on the beginning level. And this is just absolutely necessary because by the time I'm done, I'm absolutely drenched and I need to go and rinse off. And then I put a new one of these on because my hair was still a mess and we were going to be hanging out. So that's what's up with the headband. If you are not comfortable going out for a walk, if you're not comfortable getting a gym membership, if you're not comfortable going to aerobics classes, I don't need my jiggly bits jiggling in front of a bunch of other people. I don't like it. I know people that are confident enough to do that, and I admire that. That's not me. So I've said this many times, and I'm going to say it again. You do you. So whether you buy a cheaper VR headset and put your phone in it, or you get a PlayStation VR headset or a Quest 2, whatever it is that you get, do your research, look at your budget, and if it's something that is going to benefit you, I promise you that you will have fun working out in a virtual world. I have worked out in South Africa, I've worked out in the desert of Iran, I've worked out in the Swiss Alps, in Banff, in Scotland, and it is a lot of fun. So decide what it is that you're ready to do. Listen to your body. Don't do too much too soon. Maybe the first little bit, all you want to do is go outside and walk around your block or march in place for 5 minutes. Whatever it is that you're ready for. And don't go and commit to something because you think you should. Commit to something because you love it. This is something that I love, and I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and I'm excited to do it every day. So, you do you. What are you ready for? What is your body ready for? Now, go and get some thawed burger, half lean, half medium if you're in Canada, 80-20 if you're in the States. Get that grill ready. And if you're looking for TSL spices, you might want to join me in Rimbey tomorrow from 9:30 to 12:30 in the morning. And then I will be back here on Monday in Panoka, and where am I after that? Weather permitting. We kind of got rained out Wednesday and Thursday this week, but typically Wednesday in Wetaskiwin in Alberta, Thursday in Lacombe, Alberta, and Saturday in Rimbey, Alberta at the farmers markets, where you can also find eggs and vegetables and beautifully raised pasture-raised ground beef or steak or whatever else you need. So have an amazing rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend. I will see you hopefully in Rimbey tomorrow. If not, I will see you here Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain. Let's do it. You got this. Now go and do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. That's what I'm going to do. Bye for now.